Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, thanks for stopping by. My name is Tolu, and on this channel I share content all around personal finance, budgeting, frugal living, and I show you how to live your best life on a budget. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back to watch another video. It's amazing to have you here with me again today. So in today's video, guys, what I'm going to be doing is bringing you season 2, episode number 8 of my Instagram live series, Tea Money Talks. So over on Instagram, every Thursday at 8 p.m, you can find me live with a special guest talking about one money topic or another. And this week I was joined by Eduardo, who is a co-founder of the money management app called Emma. It's a really popular app in the UK, Canada, and US, where it helps you with your money management, from your budgeting to your tracking expenses to your saving and so much more. So in this conversation, he talked to me at length about the app, its features and benefits, and what's to come for the app within the next year and beyond. Like I say every single week, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself some snacks and a pen and paper, and stay tuned for episode number 8 of Tea Money Talks, because it's going to be a really good one, and I'm sure you're going to get so much from this conversation. I guess obviously it's the first time we've spoken on the live, so for the benefit of those that don't know you or know what you do, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do.
I am the CEO and co-founder of Emma, which is a money management app that helps you track budgets and basically see where your money goes. We are live in the UK, US, and Canada, and basically you can download the app, connect all your bank accounts, and have full control over your spending, which is something the majority of people out there does not do, and everyone should should actually do it, and we basically give that kind of control.
No, that's absolutely amazing. And like you said, it's something that we definitely need. So many of us struggle when it comes to managing our finances. I was one of those people once upon a time, but I'm actually more of an Excel user. But I know so many people, I'm seeing in the comments already, everyone saying that they use Emma. So I know a lot of people talk about the app and how amazing it is. So I was so excited to get you on the show to hear more about the app and its features and benefits. Okay, so then I guess just a little bit of a background into the app. What inspired it? What made you found the app or find the app or create the app, should I say?
For us, it was a very long discovery process, because we were at uni, and I'm Italian. I moved here to study, so I was in Manchester with my other co-founder, who was the only Italian in my computer science course. So that's how we met.
Okay.
And I think while at uni, we were we got our first bank account, because the student bank account that you open on day one of uni, and we're I think our first relationship with money and independence, because before we didn't have a bank account of our own. And I guess that we quickly realized how what the bank does is not what we expect the bank should do, in the sense that the bank is a place where you can put your money, save your money, or invest your money, but it's not definitely a place where they can tell you if good things are happening, bad things are happening, or if it's time to improve, because that's not the job of the bank. That's not what the bank was built for. And that's where we thought that there could be a chance to actually fit in. So between consumers and their own financial products. And that's what basically Emma does. Emma is a tiny layer that connects to all your financial products and then helps you manage them over time. I guess the funding story is way longer than that, because I think that was our first interaction, and then it took us some time to figure it out. But basically, after we finished uni, after some time, we actually launched the product.
That's absolutely amazing. And I'm just interested to dive a bit more into your background, actually, because you said obviously you was at uni, at the Freshers Fair, you have all the banks there, they have their stand, and come and sign up and get your overdraft and get your student account and all the rest of it. So how was you able to see past that? Because I fell for the trap. I was one of those people that literally opened the overdraft, literally everything, free credit. I took it all on board. So I'm just interested to know how comes you think beyond all of that and be like, no, actually, I want to do things differently, and I want to help people as opposed to be part of it.
I think that early on we really got an interest in building products, because we're both engineers and computer scientists. And so building things that were helpful to other people, right?
Yeah.
The idea that you build something that it's used by hundreds of thousands of people every month is actually quite interesting, and also it pushes you to even go further down that. For us on our side, we were completely naive, so we didn't know what we were doing. We just knew that we finished uni, and we decided that weren't going to take a job in London, but we're actually starting to build and figure out what we actually wanted to do. That took us 2 years with no income, no job, and just like working in a room and trying to build things, right?
Wow.
And the first thing that we did wasn't even Emma, was something else that then we changed and then ended up into Emma. I think that we were lucky enough that during the last 2 years of uni, we were working as freelancers. So we just saved cash at uni, which is something that no one does, basically, too much. Impossible. And we basically lived on that cash for 2 years, to the point that it got to a point where basically we almost ran out of cash and we had to move back to our parents for 6 months in Italy, and still we were working remote. So we sort of take 2 years out, and you could call it like a risk, but for us wasn't even a risk. It was like, we just want to do this and we'll do this, and we don't care, right? Our friends were in London, we're working at banks, we're working at tech companies, but we just like didn't see a future in that kind of career, and so we decided to do something completely opposite.
Wow, so inspiring, literally inspiring.
Don't do it.
Oh really? You wouldn't recommend it? No, I can imagine. A lot of sleepless nights and sacrifices, I guess, is gone into the process, would you say?
Yeah, the only way that I would recommend it only if you're like crazy enough not to, see any risk, in the sense that just like, just do it. I've got a lot of friends that they come to me and they're like, oh, I've got this idea, or I'm building this project. And the first thing I tell them was like, oh, okay, just like fire yourself and work on this full time. And they're all like, oh no, just, if you don't have the attitude to actually make things happen, nothing will ever happen. And that's the reality of like what it is. And the reason behind that is because like if you do any startup out there or any side projects, you need to be involved 24/7. You can do 2 hours, after work or something like that. Maybe you can do it early on, but at some point, you need to take the sort of like leap of faith to be
back yourself.
And so that's my advice. So yes, I advise it if you're able to actually take that sort of like leap of faith.
Yes, I can imagine. And it must have been a lot of sacrifices as well along the way, because like you said, a lot of your friends were in London, living it up, I guess earning a lot of money at the time. And so having to see the bigger picture and see beyond what everybody else was doing to where you was going to go.
After 2 years, we were able to actually build a prototype. We gathered like a few thousand users into the app, and we were actually able to raise a quite big sum, because it was like £500,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from some investors. And even at that point, I was like, and that was 2 years without salary. And even at that point, I was like stubborn enough in saying, why don't we just put ourselves at 21K and we can keep building, because there is no point of, having like a high salary. We quickly realized that 21K probably wasn't feasible in London, so we agreed on 25. And we spent another like 15, 18 months with that kind of salary in London. And we were still able to save about £500 a month, because again, at that point for us, it was just like work on this 24/7.
Yeah.
We took out a lot of like entertainment, cocktail stuff, bars here and there. So even at 25K, we were able to save quite a lot of money.
I can imagine. Now that's so impressive. And you're still partners today? Are you both still co-founders of the app? Or that's amazing. I've heard about going into business with friends, and that can be quite problematic. It's worked out well for you.
Yes, because I've been knowing him for the last almost 9 years. So we met in 2012. We were living together for a long time. So I think and that's the second advice, is that if you want to take the leap of faith, just take it with someone that you know and you trust. It never makes sense or works out if you do it with someone you have just met, simply because, disagreements come to place, and then you don't know how to sort of like build those relationships, and things most of the time fall apart.
Yeah, no, I hear that. That's good advice. That's interesting. Because literally, I usually hear don't mix business with pleasure. So like, don't go to business with your friends. So I'm so pleased that it's working really well. Absolutely amazing. I guess in terms of the app, let's talk a little bit more about it. You touched on it briefly. You told us that it's a money management app, and kind of there's an overlay between the bank and you. I think so you kind of get a broader picture of what the app does, or of your financial situation, should I say. So I downloaded the app actually, and I got really scared in terms of putting my HSBC details in there. I was just like, oh my gosh, they couldn't have details to my bank accounts, but it was all fine. And it was just interesting to see the reports and start seeing trends in my behavior already. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see this. I want to come out. But yeah, no, so tell us a bit more about the features.
That's the important thing about, putting your details, in the sense that we use open banking, so you don't really share your username and password with us.
Yeah.
You just have it on the HSBC app to share, the data, use the data and show you in a very good format.
Yeah, no, I saw that. So that was good. Yeah, so it didn't actually take my details. It logged me in through HSBC. So yeah, it was all above the board. It was all good. So no, it was really good. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about the app features and benefits.
As soon as you connect your account, there are like a bunch of things that we show you right away. One is probably the biggest sort of like selling point is that all your accounts in one place. So what people tend to do is that they add multiple accounts. They can have their savings, credit cards, investments, even loans manually. And so at that point, you have like a very good picture. And one of the first things that you can see is actually your net worth and see how you've actually been doing in the last, sort of like 2, 3, 4 years. But the other like big selling point that always like gets people fixated is the subscriptions part. So we're able to detect any of your subscriptions, track them, and tell you how much you spent over time into these ones. And that's when, majority of people, they get shocked there, because people still don't look into their bank accounts and they still find things that they didn't know they were like paying for. And I am one of them. When I was in uni, I spent about like 12 months paying for Netflix because I wasn't looking at my bank account. And this was like 2012. And the content on Netflix was also like very, very bad. So yeah, also like a waste of money.
Oh no!
But because like 30 days free trial, you forget about the free trial, and that's it.
No, that's happened to me many times before. Like I've signed up for the subscription and I'm like, I'm going to cancel it after the 30-day free trial. And then 3 months later, I finally noticed it on my statement. I'm like, oh, I've been paying for the past 3 months for this thing that was supposed to be free. So yeah, I totally get it. That happens a lot to me and to others.
Classic. The second, the third interesting thing apart from subscription is the fact that you can budget and track all your spending. So you see all your spending by categories. You can set budgets, and you can even budget payday to payday, which is probably the most used feature in the app. So basically, you can sync all your budgets to the date you get paid next. This helps people in basically managing their cash flow and understanding, how much they need to spend before the next payday, or they can spend. Again, if you have constant savings and you've got a lot of some money in the bank account, it's probably not useful. But definitely, if you are really living payday to payday, this is a good way to actually get out of this, because you spend the first 4 months really looking at your payday to payday cycles, and the more you save and the more you get out of the sort of
the payday to payday cycle. Yeah.
rat race, something like that. No. Yeah.
No, that sounds absolutely amazing. Definitely, I can see why so many people are raving about the app, because anything that's going to make it easy to kind of see where your money is going and a snapshot view of your finances, this is definitely useful, because I do my. Oh, what you gonna say?
There are a lot of apps out there that they actually save money for you. And this is something that we're looking at and we've never built, because we don't want to physically move your money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you want to really save something, you don't need someone to take money out of your bank account. You need to look at your bank account, because what happens with other products is that people even forget about them, and then they say, "Oh yeah, I've saved this much." But the point is that if you look, you save. It's not that you need to.
100%. Yeah.
And with this said, I think that some of these apps that actually take money out of your bank account can be useful to set up a plan with a goal for the long term. And this is actually something that we're looking to build in Emma and bring in Emma, so that we can auto save for you for the long term. So it will come.
That's amazing. Is that part of the 6-week plan that you're talking about, or is that going to be later on?
No, for the 6 plans is a bit different, because right now we're basically working on payments. With open banking, we can basically help you request payments from friends and send payments to friends.
Okay.
And you can do that from any banks you have connected. So imagine like receiving money on whatever bank you want and sending money from whatever bank you want, which is quite nice. And another feature that we're working on is called groups, where basically you can manage group expenses in one place. So
Wow.
with your flatmate, your partner, whoever you want, you can share all your history of transactions and spending.
Okay. That sounds very impressive. Me and my husband definitely benefit from that.
That's super cool. And then other stuff that we're working on is like one is called fraud prevention. So we will basically,
what was that prevention? Sorry.
Yeah, we're launching a product called like fraud prevention. So
growth. Yeah.
basically, we scan the dark web for you across your email addresses and phone numbers to see if they've been leaked by other websites. So it might be that your Facebook details were like leaked into a hack, so it's time to change them, or things like that. And then there are like two big features. One is like stock tracking, so you will be able to track your stocks in Emma and all your investments. So if you bought some like Tesla on an investing app, you can actually add it in Emma. And the other one is actually the ability to actually buying and selling crypto, which is probably the biggest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing that we're working on right now.
That would be really, 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 really cool.
Yeah.
So lots and lots of features and benefits that are coming very soon.
There is like a ton of stuff, but our long-term view is to actually make Emma the control center of your money and the only place that you basically access to manage everything else.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I totally get where you're going. So I'm just going back through the comment. There was one. Someone told me to ask you something, but I missed the comment. Let me see if I can go back to it.
Join. Ask Eduardo about the Calvin Harris stories.
Do you want to tell us about it?
Of course. So the Calvin Harris stories is like a crazy one because basically we after those, I'll tell you the whole story. Like I'll try to make it
sure.
So basically, after we finished uni in 2016, 2016 it was in June. We spent 3 months like traveling all over the place. We also did like a world tour. We actually won it the year before into hackathon. So a crazy story. And then we decided to, from Manchester, move to Berlin to work on our like startup project.
Oh, wow.
At the time, it was like a peer-to-peer lending platform, which we called and named Fikiria, and we spent 3 months trying to sell this Fikiria to German banks to set up like a peer-to-peer lending platform. And basically, after 3 months, we realized that in German, "fick" means fuck. So we spent 3 months, going to banks saying that we're building fuck. Which was quite interesting. And so basically, after that experience, we actually decided to launch a budgeting app in Germany. This was like 2017, called Kiria. So we just dropped FI, a bit like Facebook. Let's drop it there, right? And we were live for 6 months. We realized that nothing was working, and so at that point we were like completely broke, and we moved back to our parents for like 6 months. After like 6 months of building in Italy, we decided we launched in the UK. So closed Germany, launched in the UK, and we started getting like traction in the UK with like several thousands of like pounds of investments, of users. And so we basically decided to come back to London to start raising money for the app. At this point, the app was out. We had 2,000-3,000 users using it, and we spent 5 months living into like a gym floor on a hairbed. And this was like the office of our like accelerator. Accelerator is like a company that basically accelerates startups.
Yeah.
And after 4 months of trying to raise, we were like struggling really, really badly. We sort of like realized that the raise wasn't going to happen, and we had to shut down the company because like some deals were falling off, some investors that weren't happy. And basically, we sent one last email to one of our investors saying, we can make the deal with these terms, but let us know if you're happy. And one of our like advisors at the time, he actually told us, to close because that was it. And so we're locked in this room, basically crying. And it was like the room of this big office in Waterloo. And at some point, someone knocks at the door. We opened the door, and it was like Calvin Harris with like two huge guys behind him, and we're like, basically the office was actually like a property, it was like a villa, and Calvin Harris was like looking to buy this villa, and so he was having a look around at the house. But so we were like, basically, we were crying. I didn't even recognize him. My co-founder went pale because it was like, Calvin Harris. And you know, like 6 hours after that, the investor got back to us and said, yes, let's make the deal, and we closed.
Oh, amazing.
So for us, like Calvin Harris was like a sign from God.
I thought you were going to be the
yeah, at that point we should have stopped him. It was like, come on, Calvin, put some money into.
Come in and save our business.
But yeah, no, that was like quite funny and interesting in terms of that. But definitely, you know, it was one of like the ups and downs, and you know, it doesn't matter what stage you're at. If you've got like 2 employees, 20 employees, 100 employees, the downs and the ups, they still keep coming. And, you know, even with 500 employees, there will be scenarios where you think that the company is failing and there is no hope, and then you go back up. I think it's just the nature of like the startups, so, you know.
Yeah, totally understand. And it's just to show that no matter where you are on the journey, it's going to have its highs and lows. I think people could be listening in right now thinking, oh yes, Eduardo's made it kind of thing. His app is international, it's doing really well, and the business is so successful. But I guess people don't see both sides of it. They don't see the difficulties and the hardships that you must still have to go on a continual.
Yeah, like, you know, it was like in August we had a problem in the app, and basically it was like Friday at 11 p.m. and it was like Thursday 11 p.m. and the app started crashing really badly for an unknown reason, and we couldn't figure it out. And we had to spend the whole night till 6 a.m. trying to figure out what was going on, which by 10 a.m. we still hadn't figured out. And then by 9:30 we realized that one guy from a dashboard, he pressed one button on and off, and that was making everything explode. So it was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like a weird situation. Like,
gosh, but has that been safeguarded now? So that kind of thing can't happen again?
No, it won't happen again. It was like, actually, it was very specific to Facebook and Facebook ads, because we run ads on Facebook and Instagram. So it had nothing to do with our own technology of like, the way that we build. But yeah, you know, sometimes there are things like this where it looks like that the world is ending, but you know, the world does not end, and it keeps.
But at the time, it feels like it. You have to keep going.
Yeah, of course. Like, especially when you don't know the solution behind it, and you see all these people complaining, and you're like, "Oh, we need to fix."
Oh my god! So, how big is your team at the moment?
At the moment, we're like 12 people, pretty much.
No way!
Wow. And we're currently adding for a bunch of other like 10 roles. So we will double by the end of the year. And also we've got like a very big news coming by the end of the month. So the team will double, if not triple. Yeah.
Amazing. Is that a new market that you're looking to enter into right now?
Pardon?
Is that a new market that you're looking to enter into?
As of now, we're really focused on the UK. We want to put at least 5 million people in the UK on the app in focus. But definitely Europe is interesting as well, because, you know, it's just nearby. But definitely, you know, in the UK with open banking, like connecting a bank account, making a payment has become super easy and accessible to everyone. It's a no-brainer for what we're building. Yeah,
totally makes sense. Going back to my notes, because I've literally gone totally off script. let me see what else I had here to ask you. No, but it's been really good. Okay, so we've spoken about the features and benefits. And I guess the next question I have to ask you is kind of like an interview type question, actually. So what sets your app apart from other apps in the marketplace? So, you know, obviously you've got Mint and all the rest of it. What would you say? Why would you say people should download Emma over the competitors that are out there?
I think that in the UK, we actually were able to become the first money management app in a couple of years. And that was because, one, we worked a lot on the product and we added some innovative features. And two, we went faster than most of the competition out there, right? So if you're really looking for a money management app, Emma is like the one for you. There are many other apps out there that, you know, promise savings, and they do it in different ways, like taking money out of your account or, you know, doing weird operations. But, you know, what we do as of today is just like, we read your data and we tell you what's happening. And if you really want a tool that works, this is it.
Okay, no, amazing. Thank you. Okay. I guess we've talked about this a bit, but specifically, what would you say has been the best part of the journey so far with Emma? So obviously we've had a few iterations before we got to Emma. I think there's about 3 from what you said before we landed at Emma. So yeah, speaking specifically about Emma, what would you say has been the best part of the journey so far?
For us, it's pretty much now, in the sense that now we've got like a team of like multiple people that is working on the product. Things are moving much faster, and there are like a ton of features that are coming out next. So this is the exciting part. It's a time where you don't work with like 1,000 customers anymore, but you work with hundreds of thousands, and you quickly see the output of your work out there, and how people like judge you based on how hard you work on things. And and we get better and better when you get reach to millions of users out there, and that's our goal, right? And I guess that for us, the answer to your question is that it always needs to be in the present moment, because if you're not excited about what we're doing today, we won't be able to push it even further tomorrow.
No, that's a very good point. Enjoy the journey, yeah, because it's so easy to be so focused on the future and what you want to get and where you see it, like the 5 million people that you were saying. So it's like when I get to the 5 million, that's when I'll be really happy. But no, I think that's amazing what you just said in terms of appreciating today.
5 million people, you want to get to 50 million after that.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Exactly. So it never ends. So like you said, enjoy the journey, and that's what you've been doing. So that's incredible. So then talk to us a little bit about the, I guess, more challenging parts of the journey, or the thing that you probably least like. I guess I could probably guess a few of them, but it's good to hear your own words.
I think the most challenging part is like when you start, right? Because when you start, you're no one, and you need to. Usually, the first few steps are always the toughest ones, and then it gets easier and easier, and that's challenging. We've been talking about it even today, when you don't have any money, you're building on your own, and then you're trying to raise investment, and you're trying to do multiple things. That's extremely challenging, because you're no one, right? And you build, you grow, and you get more people on board and more usage, things quickly change, right? Because then by that point the numbers speak by themselves, right? And so I think that for everyone out there, the difference that usually when you look at some entrepreneurs and some others, like the number one reason to become successful is not to give up, right? Because if you don't give up, then you've got a chance to come back and tell the story, right? If you give up, you don't have any story. And so those early steps of really getting a lot of rejections and not understanding what you're doing, and probably having all your friends telling you you're crazy, those are the ones that you need to approach and be comfortable with. And that's where the challenge is. After that, things will get easier and easier and easier and easier.
So then how do you do that? So obviously, like what you said, like it's easier once you get past that initial building stage, when you have this vision but nobody else can see your vision, but you can see where you're trying to go. So how do you stay motivated to kind of stay the course in those early days, early stages? Like, is there any advice you could give to people on this live?
I don't think there is any advice out there. I was having panic attacks every day.
Oh wow!
You work in a way. No, but it's not even that, right? Because it works in a way where you wake up with panic attack, and then that motivates you to push it harder, and then you go to bed convinced that things will go well, and everything will happen in the way that you want it, right? So it's not even that. I think it's just about being resilient, and keep focused, and try to move faster than anyone else, because if you slow down, people will catch up, and if you give up, you won't have a story to tell. So there are, I guess, these two main elements that actually play a big role into trying to make it. And even to this day, most of these points are still valid for us, because it's not that the story ends here. We see 20, 30, 40 years ahead.
No, totally get it. So it's be resilient, have some resilience, and just don't quit, basically. Just keep going, keep pushing for that goal, and accept that it's not going to be an easy ride, but you just kind of have to tough it up and just ride it, be on the course. So no, that totally makes sense. Okay, so next question. you spoke on it a bit actually earlier on in terms of what's to come for the app, but can you tell us a bit, I guess, for the benefit of people that are joining a bit later on as well, like what's to come, the future of the app, where will Emma be in a year from now, for example?
Yeah, I think right now we're making like, I guess, like three main bets. One is like into investments, so we're building investment products. One is into savings, because we want to build savings products, not just like tracking. We actually want to offer you interest on your deposits and take deposits. And the third one is into payments. Payments is an action that you do every day. You know, you can pay money to your friends, you request money from your friends. Mm-hmm. This is something that we really want to add into the app to actually, you know, create more usage and actually make you use the app more and more often. So these are like our main three bets for the next 12, 15 months. There are definitely, you know, conversations about other countries, how we bring this product to other countries here and there. But the focus will be mainly on like these three areas and trying to make it the best product out there. And I think that we are on the right path.
No, that sounds amazing. I'm just double checking if I missed any questions. Okay, I think I've literally answered all the questions that I actually had for you. So thank you. You've been really amazing. I guess just final thoughts or anything that you want the guys to know, or yeah, just any final thoughts you've got for the guys. And if you have any questions for me, let me know as well. But yeah, any final thoughts?
No, I think we've summarized a lot of things, and you know, for anyone that wants to start something tomorrow, just start it. Don't think about it. The more you think, the more time you spend thinking and not starting it.
Yeah, that's it. Just do. Less thinking and just do. Download the app and start planning and start managing that money. Yeah, get the money working for you rather than just putting it off for tomorrow. What you can do today. So just actually before you go, I have another question. This isn't on my list, but I just want to know more about your daily routine. So are you like a 3 a.m. wake up type of person, or how do you order your day? I'm just interested to know.
You know, I'm very like normal in the sense that I don't have like a fixed routine with like in terms of like slots and times. I'm very like relaxed in that sense.
Okay.
But yeah, I try to stick to it. You know, there aren't like many variations in my routine. With money, what I found really interesting and something that I advise everyone is that basically on the day I get paid, I start transferring money out of my current account to savings, investments, or whatever like I want. And then basically on my current account, I only keep the money that I need for my pay period. The reason behind that is just because I find it's exciting to, you know, shuffle the money around on that day. And sometimes I also make the math wrong and I go in overdraft on my current account. But also it puts you in a perspective because the money that you have transferred, you know, you're not going to put it back. And so it's money that you already saved. And so, again, it helps you in saving way more because the money is already out of your current account.
No, that's really, really good advice. And that's literally what we do as well, same kind of thing. Like payday, we sit down, we have our budgeting spreadsheet and have plans, and we literally send the money to all the different pots. And that way it's like out of sight, out of mind. Like I can't touch that money because it's already been designated to the area it needs to be designated to. So yeah, no, I totally agree. That's definitely a big bit of managing that money. But no, that was literally all my questions for you today, Eduardo. If you have any questions from you or anything like that, we can literally start. Guys, if you have any questions, actually, because I didn't even ask them, if you have any questions for Eduardo.
We covered a lot of things. It was really nice talking to you.
No, it's been really, really good. So definitely, guys, go check out the Emma app, download it if you haven't yet downloaded it. And yeah, thank you, Eduardo, once again for the time this evening. And we'll definitely speak soon. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
All right, bye.